Cannot tell you how much I fucking love this goddamn show. The Last of Us is probably the best cinema I have seen in such a long time. It is phenomenal how well they are putting the game into the TV show while also building upon the story in the game more by giving certain stuff their individuality. Like all of episode 3, that was not in the game. That was a completely original thing. They didn't even need to do that, but they did, and it was probably my favorite thing I've seen in so fucking long. I cried so much at that. There's a video. Last of Us episode 3 broke me emotionally. Last of Us episode 4, however, just made me have a really, really good time. Like I remember, I rewatched the game, like someone play the game because I couldn't play it. I don't have my PS4 or my PS5. I don't have a PS5, but I watched someone replay the game. I watched PewDiePie play it actually because his playthrough is probably one of the best that I've seen. And he was, I'm watching through the game because I wanted to see how well the TV show would actually mimic the game. Because from what everyone presented it as, the PR team was like, our actors never played the game. No one working on the show played the game. We don't know anything about it. But that's clearly not true. They have clearly played this game, and they might have played it a lot, maybe a lot more than most people who just casually play video games have, because you can totally tell Pedro Pascal, if I'm pronouncing his name right, is probably one of the most prominent actors that I can think of right now. This motherfucker is in so much good shit, and he makes what he's in good. He's literally the Mandalorian. That's what everybody knew him as. That's who everybody thought he was. Now he's fucking Joel. He plays this character so fucking well. It's like I'm actually watching the game come to life. This is what I've always dreamed about. Like when you want to see how something like this would actually happen, they are taking the game and making it realistic and adding more of a realistic setting to it, and they are doing it so well. It is keeping me super entertained. Now I want to actually talk about episode 4 a little bit from what I can remember, because it was a phenomenal episode. It was not more of a emotional, hard-hitting episode because that's coming next. I can see episode 5 because episode 5 is when Henry and Sam come in, and I do remember that from the game. And if it's anything like episode 3, I will be back out here afterwards, probably crying my eyes out. If it ends there, they might do a two-parter with them because of how long the quest went in the game, but that doesn't matter. So episode 4 is they get into the town, and I don't know how much of this is in the game and how much of it isn't. I don't think all the truck driving is, but they do the bit where Ellie pulls out the paper. But in the game, it was a woman. In the show, because they said that Bill and Frank were homosexual, it's actually a man. So she opens a picture of a dude's dick, and then she throws it out the window. That was straight from the game. Amazing fucking execution. Phenomenal work there from both people. I love the character that plays Ellie. I love Pedro Pascal. I'm sorry, I don't know the girl's name who plays Ellie, but I love her. They both do such a phenomenal job of bringing these characters to life. So, starts off with that, and they're just driving down the road, whatever, and blah blah blah. They have a nice little bonding moment in the forest where Joel kind of starts to loosen up a bit, I guess, and he starts to kind of, talk to her more, and you can see he's kind of letting his guard down just a little bit, not too much. It's not so apparent as it is just, you can kind of tell he's just kind of like relaxing a bit. Like it's a slow curve, but you know it's gonna get there. So then they keep on driving, and then they find the roadway, and then they go through the town. I don't know how much of this part is in the game. I don't remember all of them fighting the scavengers that they run into. I do remember Joel just gunning it and be like, he doesn't want our help, and he just guns it. Ellie's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then they start getting shot at. But then, this is probably the best scene in the show when they're being blocked down by the gunfire and they can't move, and Joel tells Ellie to run to the thing because he does want to protect her. Even going back to the forest part, he doesn't sleep because he looks over at her while she's sleeping. I'm pretty sure he looks over at her, but then look, he looks at his gun, and then the next slide is him holding his gun, looking at the forest. You can tell he wants to protect this girl. He wants to make sure she stays safe because he feels for a little girl because of his daughter. You get that. So then he's trying to protect her. He tells her to go into the wall because he does. Not only does he want to protect her from the gunfire, he wants to protect her from death. He wants to. You can tell he wants to protect her from seeing what happens when another human dies. She's seen the clickers die. She's seen the fungus headed monsters die or whatever, but killing a human is on a completely different level. And Joel knows this because, as we know, and as he explains to her later on, he's been on both sides. He had to do it to survive. This is what he thought he had to do to survive. So he's telling her to get to the wall, and then he just starts going off. He's going and he's killing people, and Ellie sees the dead body, and then Joel gets attacked. And the pivotal moment comes where she's got to pull that gun out that she stole from Bill's house, and attack the guy. And I thought she was going to shoot him in the head and he was going to die instantly. The fact that after, I don't remember again, I don't particularly remember what's part of the game, what's not, so I'm strictly just talking about the show, because even if it's just in the show, it is phenomenal writing and it's phenomenal screenplay. So, guy gets, Brian, I think his name is Brian, he gets shot in the back and he starts begging and pleading for them not to kill him, and you can see in Ellie's eyes she doesn't want to do it. She's shocked at what she just did. She doesn't understand. She's her head is probably going 1,000,000 miles per minute, and Joel also sees this. So he does the right thing. He grabs the gun from her and he simply says, Ellie, go back to the wall. While you hear Brian talking to his mom, saying, go get her, she's right there, I'll trade you anything, we'll trade for you, I don't want to die, please, no, have mercy. And as Ellie goes to the wall, he drops his knife, they give them the knife, and Joel grabs the knife. And unfortunately, I didn't think this was going to happen, but as Ellie goes into the wall, Joel walks over to the guy, and you hear him screaming for his mom, and you don't hear a gunshot, you hear a stab wound, because Joel didn't want to give their location up, so he stabs the guy to death. Unfortunate, but it needed to be done, because in the world they're living in, they can't let stuff like that go. You can't let someone, a scavenger like that, go and tell his people, and then you're in danger. Joel wants to protect Ellie. And after that scene, you can see that in the thing when he's trying to talk to her and explain to her about death and trying to comfort her, but he doesn't do it right because he doesn't know how anymore. He hasn't had a kid in a while. He's out of practice. So he tries, but he's bad at it. And then eventually he gets her to open up, and she says, it's not my first. And they start talking, and you can really start seeing the relationships are building and building and building. Even when he does this whole scarecrow joke too, where like she tries to tell him the thing about, why does the scarecrow do the thing? And he's like, because he's a master at his field. I can't remember the exact line. I do remember, however, when he started teaching her how to use the gun, that is such a super cool scene, because I don't think it happened exactly how it happens in the game. I think it's different how it happens in the game, but he teaches her to hold it correctly, and then she goes to put it in her back, and he's like, don't do that, you're putting it in your back because you'll shoot your ass off. I thought that was really funny, and I thought it was just a really good way to show these characters connecting and show them growing, and showing Joel he's becoming more and more of a protector to her, because he knows that she's capable of this, so now he knows he can trust her with the gun if he needs to, because she's capable. She's ready to do it. She may not want to, she's scared, it frightens her, but he knows she's capable of doing so. And because the music, I keep saying, but I don't know if it's the same song, but that song, while they're driving down the road, it is the perfect fucking song to pick for that. Especially when the line says, I wonder what she's thinking of, as it zooms in on Ellie as she's looking at all the tanks and the rundown military vehicles. What is going through her head? I would really like to know. It's probably something, she's probably scared, you know? And then they go on, and you see the plot with the doctor and the boy, and they're looking for Henry and Sam. I forgot the guy's name was Henry and Sam. I thought those were two different people, but I cannot wait to continue. This episode was more of a build up to the next one, because I'm 100% certain they're because the episode ended with Ellie and Joel in their little hotel room, and they were sitting there and they were having a good time, they were chuckling, they were having a laugh, and then it cuts to they wake up and Henry and Sam are pointing guns at them and telling them to shush. So, like, they building they're building it slowly but thoroughly, and they're doing a good job building up their relationship to the point where now they're laughing and having a good time before they go to sleep. Joel's trying to protect her, and she realizes that he can't hear on his right side, and he asks her about his first time, and he gives her more advice and stuff like that. And I was going somewhere with this, but I don't know where I was going with it. But you know, I really like it. I think it's doing such a good job building it up, and right now, and it's doing a good job furthering the story that I know that this is gonna connect later on. Unlike the show I just watched, Velma, who doesn't connect anything. Like the first 5 minutes of this gave me more entertainment than 4 episodes of Velma, which I watched previously. I always watched the shitty one, and then I watched The Last of Us because The Last of Us is actually good. But that's really all I have to say about this episode. It was phenomenal. It was great storytelling. I'm very glad to see that they're building up the characters. They are doing it very well. Pedro Pascal plays Joel perfectly. The girl plays Ellie perfectly, in my opinion. And I can't wait to see more. And this next episode, I swear to God, if it does hit me as the emotional wreck that I feel like it's going to, because I know it's going to happen, I'm definitely coming out here and just making probably a quick little video about it. This is really a quick little video too, but it probably went on way longer than it should have. But I just have to tell this. I love The Last of Us. I think it's probably one of the best. No, scratch that. It is the best game to TV show that I have ever seen, and I'm very glad. I hope they keep up the same pace, and I hope they don't just inevitably ruin it or something like that. I want to see more. I can't wait to see more, and I'm captivated. Like I want to keep watching this show. It's so fucking good.